Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to 5 Minutes of Torah with the Beth Israel Rabbi. This Shabbat is Shabbat Hagadol, the Shabbat before Passover. We are just days away from celebrating one of the most important holidays of the entire Jewish year. On this particular holiday, quite frankly, we not only celebrate our redemption from the land of Egypt, but actually we celebrate our redemption from the trouble and the turmoil and the challenges of life itself. This week in our Musar class, we are in the midst of studying Abraham Joshua Heschel's The Sabbath. And we just read in Heschel's The Sabbath a story that comes from Gemara Shabbat that I actually love to teach at my own Sidarim, at the Seders at my house. This particular story is about Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who makes a rather negative comment amongst a couple of his friends about buildings of the Romans. The Roman authorities hear about this, and the Caesar sentence him to death. He escapes with his son to a cave where they spend 12 years, literally buried in sand, only studying Torah and praying. Their basic needs are provided by God, a carob tree, and a stream of water. After 12 years, Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet, comes and announces that the Caesar has died and the declaration of death against them has been nullified. They leave the cave, and in a moment of righteous indignation, as they leave the cave, they appear down at people who are working the fields. Rays of fire comes from their light and actually burns those workers to death. There is nothing for God to do but to punish them for this. And a bat kol, a voice of heaven, comes down and sends them back into the cave, this time not for another 12 years, but for another 12 months. They emerge from the cave once again, and the first thing that they see are individuals preparing for Shabbat, carrying two branches of myrtle. And they say, how beautiful this is, that Jews are preparing for the Sabbath. This is a wonderful story that is fascinating, morally complicated and challenging, and one that makes us think about the intersection of the gashmiut, of the physical, and the ruchanit, the spiritual. I love to teach this particular text on Passover because it reminds us of the fact that we exist in this world with spiritual needs and physical needs. And that is certainly true on Passover. Eliyahu Hanavi joins us at our Sidarim as well, each and every year. And whenever we hear Eliyahu Hanavi, we're reminded of the coming of the Messianic era, a coming of perfection. May this particular Passover be an opportunity for us to reflect and to think and to learn about how we too can perfect this world, how we too can perfect ourselves, intersecting the spiritual and physical needs of our lives, and do all that we can to help others in these two critical areas of life itself. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach.